Journey through Russia. A grand tour of culture, nature and tradition. Russia, the world's largest country, stretches across 11 time zones and covers more than 1/8 of Earth's land surface. From the frozen tundras of Siberia to the warm beaches of the Black Sea, Russia offers breathtaking contrasts. This video takes you on a journey through Russia's awe-inspiring nature, fascinating culture, iconic travel destinations, delicious cuisine, and vibrant traditions with a concise look at its history and economy. Russia's origins trace back to Kievan Rus in the 9th century. By the 16th century, Moscow emerged as the political center, with Ivan the Terrible becoming the first Tsar. The Romanov dynasty ruled until the 1917 revolution, which led to the formation of the Soviet Union. The USSR was a global superpower until its collapse in 1991. Since then, Russia has evolved into a modern state balancing tradition with change. Russia possesses the world's largest natural gas reserves and is a major exporter of oil, coal, and metals. Energy exports form the backbone of its economy. Major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg also support diverse industries, including finance, manufacturing, and tech. Agriculture and arms exports are also significant. The economy faces challenges due to international sanctions, but domestic production and regional trade continue to develop. No trip to Russia is complete without visiting Moscow, the pulsating heart of the nation. At its core is Red Square, home to the iconic St. Basil's Cathedral with its candy-colored onion domes and the Kremlin's mighty walls. These historic landmarks showcase classic Russian architecture. St. Basil's whimsical design looks straight out of a fairy tale, while the Kremlin complex houses palaces, churches, and museums that tell the story of Russia's past. But Moscow isn't only about history. It's a modern metropolis of 12+ million people with upscale shopping streets and a dynamic art scene. By day you can explore the Tretyakov Gallery or stroll through Gorky Park, and by night enjoy fine dining or experience the famed Russian ballet. The city even boasts trendy clubs and lounges, reflecting a cosmopolitan nightlife that keeps Moscow energetic around the clock. Blending medieval citadels and futuristic skyscrapers, Moscow truly lives up to its title as Russia's vibrant capital. St. Petersburg, the cultural capital. If Moscow represents power, St. Petersburg embodies Russia's artistic soul. Often called the Venice of the North for its elegant canals, this city was envisioned by Tsar Peter the Great as a window to Europe. Its streets are a living museum of Baroque and neoclassical architecture, from the mint green Winter Palace to the gold-spired Peter and Paul Fortress. Art lovers are drawn to the State Hermitage Museum, one of the largest and richest museums on Earth, housed in the Winter Palace. Here you can marvel at masterpieces by Da Vinci, Rembrandt, and countless others. St. Petersburg's cultural heritage is everywhere. Magnificent theaters host world-class ballet and opera, and ornate churches like the Church of the Savior on Spilled Blood dazzle with mosaics. Come summer, the city glows during the white nights, when the sun barely sets, and festivals, concerts, and street parties celebrate the endless twilight. Refined and romantic, St. Petersburg offers an immersive journey into Russia's history, art, and European flair. Lake Baikal, the Pearl of Siberia. For nature enthusiasts, Lake Baikal is an absolute must-see. Nestled in Siberia, Baikal is the world's deepest and oldest freshwater lake, holding about 20% of Earth's unfrozen freshwater. Locals lovingly call it the Pearl of Siberia. And it's easy to see why. In summer, Baikal's waters are crystal clear and mirror calm, surrounded by pine forests and mountain vistas. You can hike along scenic trails, ride a boat to spot Nerpa seals, Baikal's unique freshwater seals, or soak in nearby hot springs. In winter, the lake completely freezes over with ice so thick you can drive on it. The landscape transforms into a wonderland of turquoise ice hummocks and transparent sheets that crack with otherworldly sounds. Adventurers come for ice skating, dog sledding, or even walking on the frozen lake, a surreal experience. Whether you seek solitude in nature or thrilling outdoor activities, Lake Baikal's serene beauty and power leave an indelible impression on all who visit. Few places feel as wild and untamed as Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula in the Far East. Jutting into the Pacific Ring of Fire, Kamchatka is a geothermal paradise famed for its volcanoes and wildlife. The peninsula boasts around 160 volcanoes, 29 of them still active, a concentration virtually unmatched anywhere on Earth. Towering volcanoes like Kluchevskaya Sopka, the largest active volcano in the northern hemisphere, dominate the skyline, often wreathed in smoke and snow. This dramatic landscape of fire and ice earned Kamchatka its nickname, and much of it is protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Equally impressive are the creatures that roam here. Kamchatka is one of the best places to see brown bears in the wild, with an estimated 3 to 4 bears per 100 square kilometers in some areas. In summer, you might witness bears fishing for salmon in clear rivers, while offshore the waters teem with seals, sea otters, and orcas. Getting to Kamchatka is an adventure in itself, usually a flight to Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. But those who make the journey are rewarded with epic hiking, steaming geyser valleys, hot springs, and a sense of truly raw wilderness. For travelers seeking adventure far off the beaten path, Kamchatka is Russia's ultimate frontier. Kazan, the crossroads of cultures, located on the mighty Volga River, Kazan offers a captivating blend of East and West. As the capital of Tatars Tan, Kazan harmoniously fuses Russian and Tatar-Turkic Muslim cultures, earning it a reputation as Russia's most multicultural city. The Kazan skyline tells the story. An elegant Kul Sharif mosque, with its turquoise domes, stands just steps away from the onion-domed Orthodox Cathedral of Annunciation, both within the Kazan Kremlin, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Strolling through this Kremlin, you'll hear the muezzin's call to prayer mingle with church bells, a symbol of the city's religious tolerance and history as a meeting point between civilizations. Beyond its architecture, Kazan invites you to savor distinctive cuisine and hospitality. Tatar restaurants serve delicacies like chak-chaka honey, drenched pastry, and ekpachmak savory triangle pies. The city is also known for its welcoming vibe. Locals take pride in their reputation for warm hospitality to guests. Modern-day Kazan is vibrant and youthful, with a large student population, lively bazaars, and waterfront parks. Whether watching a thrilling hockey match, the Tatars love sports, cruising on the Volga, or exploring historic streets, visitors come away enchanted by this crossroads of cultures, where Europe and Asia truly meet. Nature and adventure. Russia's landscapes include the taiga, the world's largest forest, tundras, rivers, mountains, and steppes. The Caucasus Mountains host Europe's highest peak, Mount Elbrus. The Ural Mountains divide Europe and Asia. The Volga River, Europe's longest, runs through central Russia. Wildlife includes brown bears, lynx, wolves, reindeer, and the rare Siberian tiger. Hiking in Altai or the Caucasus, skiing in Sochi's Kresnaya Polyana Dog, sledding in Yakutia, rafting in the Yenisei or Katun Rivers. Northern Lights viewing in Murmansk. Zapovedniks, strict nature reserves, and national parks offer rich ecotourism experiences. Cultural heritage, music, dance, and the arts. Russian culture is as vast and varied as the country itself. This is a nation famed for its contributions to literature. Think Tolstoy, Pushkin, Dostoevsky, classical music, Tchaikovsky, Stravinsky, and ballet, the Bolshoi and Mariinsky theaters. But alongside these high culture achievements thrives a rich tapestry of folk culture that is alive and well across Russia's many regions. Traditional music and dance in Russia reflect the blending of many ethnic influences, not only the Slavic heritage of Russians, Ukrainians, and Belarusians, but also the songs and steps of dozens of other groups, from Tatars and Bashkirs to Caucasus peoples and Siberian nomads. When most people picture Russian folk dance, they imagine the high-energy moves seen in Cossack dances, bold, kicking jumps, furious spins, and the famous knee-bending squat kicks, where dancers, often men in boots, squat low and extend their legs out one after the other. One iconic folk dance called the Barynya captures this spirit. It's an improvised dance known for fast stomping, clapping, and fancy squatting steps to a playful refrain of Barynya, Barynya. The Barynya and similar dances, accompanied by lively folk tunes, never fail to get audiences cheering. Yet Russian folk dance isn't all about athletic prowess. There are also graceful communal dances, like the Khorovod, where men and women hold hands in a circle, move in unison, and sing together in what is both dance and choral tradition. This circle dance dates back centuries and symbolizes unity and the cycle of life. In different corners of Russia, you'll encounter unique local dance styles and costumes. In Siberia, the Sakha-Yakut people have a beautiful dance mimicking the graceful flight of cranes. In the Caucasus, Georgian and Chechen dances feature lightning-fast footwork and proud, martial postures. In Tuva and Buryatia, dances may incorporate shamanic themes or Buddhist imagery. And in Tatarstan or Bashkiria, Turkic influences shine through in festive dances at village holidays. All these threads weave into the rich fabric of Russian performing arts. Many ensembles, like the world-renowned Moiseyev or Berezovka dance companies, celebrate this diversity by performing folk dances from all regions of Russia in brilliantly colored costumes. Music is inseparable from this cultural pageantry. Russia's folk music features soulful melodies and often the distinctive sound of the balalaika, a three-stringed triangular guitar-like instrument that is a symbol of the nation. A balalaika's cheerful strumming or picking can instantly evoke rural Russian life. Other instruments you might hear in a folk orchestra include the domra, a lute-like string instrument, accordion or bayan button accordion, which is essential for many folk and gypsy tunes, and various wooden flutes and drums. Russian folk songs range from exuberant dance tunes like the internationally famous song Kalinka, with its rapid tempo, to wistful love songs and work chants passed down through generations. Audiences around the world have been captivated by performances of these songs and dances. Be it the deep, resonant voices of a Russian men's choir singing an Orthodox hymn or an ensemble of dancers swirling in fur-lined coats during a swift Siberian folk dance. Of course, Russia's cultural heritage also encompasses the fine arts and daily crafts. Visitors can admire stunning icon paintings and gilded church frescoes, or shop for handicrafts like painted matryoshka nesting dolls, lacquer boxes from Palek, and intricate shawls from Orenburg. Each region has its own arts. Kokloma wood painting with red and gold floral patterns, Ural ceramics, Dagestan silver jewelry, and so on. Music and dance, however, remain the beating heart of folk culture. Whether it's a Moscow stage or a village celebration, the moment the fiddles strike up and the dancers leap into motion, you feel the joyous energy that has defined Russian folk traditions for centuries. Traditions that continue to be cherished and passed on, ensuring that the cultural soul of Russia stays forever vibrant. One of the most delightful ways to experience Russian culture is through its cuisine and hospitality. Russian food is hearty, comforting, and richly flavored. The kind of cooking that has sustained people through long winters and busy farm seasons. Perhaps the most famous dish is borscht, a deeply satisfying beetroot soup packed with meat and vegetables. Originally from Ukraine, borscht was quickly adopted into Russian kitchens and is now enjoyed nationwide. Another staple of Russian cuisine is pelmeni, small dumplings typically filled with seasoned minced meat. Pelmeni are boiled or steamed, then served with melted butter or sour cream. Simple, warming, and absolutely delicious. In Siberia, families historically made huge batches of pelmeni and froze them outdoors for storage through the winter. Russian meals often start with a series of appetizers called zakuski laid out on the table. You'll see things like pickled vegetables, smoked or salted fish, black rye bread, and salads. One beloved Russian salad is Olivier salad, a concoction of diced potatoes, carrots, peas, eggs, and ham bound in mayonnaise. Another is herring under a fur coat, a layered salad covered in a pink coat of beet-infused mayonnaise. Hearty soups are also a fixture of Russian dining. Shi is a cabbage soup. Solyanka is a zesty, thick soup with mixed meats. In summer, Russians cool off with okroshka, a cold kefir-based soup full of chopped cucumber, radish, dill, and ham. For mains, cabbage rolls called golubtsy and beef stroganoff are common favorites. In the Caucasus regions, Russian cuisine incorporates dishes like shashlik and plov, reflecting the multicultural palate. No discussion of Russian food is complete without blini, the thin pancakes or crepes that Russians adore. Blini can be made from wheat or buckwheat flour and can be served with anything: sweet, jam, or honey, savory mushrooms or caviar, or simply a smear of butter. They are eaten year-round, but take on special significance during Maslenitsa, the week-long butter festival before Lent, when Russians traditionally feast on blini every day. Their round, golden shape symbolizes the sun, fitting for a holiday bidding farewell to winter. If you visit during Maslenitsa, you'll find street stalls tossing blini, and families competing over whose babushka makes the best pancakes. To accompany all this food, Russians have some well-known beverages. Tea is king in Russia. Historically served from a samovar, a beautiful metal urn that keeps water hot, tea is enjoyed strong and black, often with a spoonful of jam or sugar. There's also kvass, a mildly fermented bread drink like a very light, malty beer that's popular in summer. And yes, Russia is famous for vodka, which has been the traditional spirit for centuries. It's typically enjoyed chilled and straight, in modest shots alongside those zakouski appetizers or toasts. There are countless vodka varieties and flavors. Sharing a toast of vodka, often simply za zdarovye, to health, is a common aspect of Russian hospitality. However, it's worth noting that beer, wine, and other drinks are also common these days, especially among the younger generation. Vodka is just one part of the picture. Hospitality in Russia is legendary. In traditional culture, a guest is almost sacred. There is a saying that a guest should be offered food, drink, and a bed for the night before being asked any questions about who they are. This ethos developed in part because of Russia's geography. With vast distances between villages, travelers depended on the kindness of strangers. Even today, Russians take pride in being gracious hosts. If you visit a Russian home, expect to be almost overfed by your hosts. They will insist you try every dish on the table and keep refilling your plate. It's common to remove your shoes at the door and put on slippers provided by the host. Then you might be ushered to the dining table, which is often overflowing with homemade dishes, from soups and pierogi stuffed buns to cured meats and cakes, even if it's a regular day and not a holiday. A beautiful old custom is to greet honored guests with bread and salt. A loaf of round bread is presented on an embroidered towel with a small bowl of salt on top. The guest is meant to break off a piece, dip it in salt, and eat it. This ritual symbolizes a warm welcome of friendship and plenty. It's not an everyday occurrence, but you'll see it during official events, weddings, or when foreign dignitaries visit, a nod to deep-rooted hospitality traditions. Russians may not always smile at strangers on the street. Cultural norms dictate that constant smiling for no reason can seem insincere, but you will find that once you are accepted as a guest, rather than a stranger, the warmth is genuinely heart-melting. Conversation at the dinner table may become lively and lengthy. Toasts will be made with wine, vodka, or even just juice. It's the spirit that counts, and stories and laughs will be shared. Don't be surprised if a simple tea invitation stretches for hours, or if your hosts send you home with jars of homemade pickles or jam. These are signs of true Russian hospitality. As the proverb goes, guests are sent by God, and Russians strive to treat them that way, with generosity and goodwill that make you feel like part of the family. Traditions and holidays. Maslenitsa. This ancient festival marks the end of winter, with pancakes, blini, folk music, games, sleigh rides, and the burning of a straw effigy to welcome spring. New Year's Eve. Russia's most celebrated holiday. Families gather for large feasts featuring salads, caviar, champagne, and tangerines. Ded Moroz, Grandfather Frost, and Snegorochka, the Snow Maiden, deliver gifts. Fireworks light the night, and the president's speech is broadcast before midnight. Victory Day, May 9th, commemorates the victory in WW with parades, music, and fireworks. Ivan Kupala Night, summer solstice festival with bonfires and folk rituals. Orthodox Christmas, January 7th, marked by church services and family gatherings. Conclusion. Russia offers something for everyone: majestic cities, untouched nature, deep traditions, flavorful food, and warm hospitality. It's a land where history meets modern life, and where every region tells a different story. Whether you seek culture, adventure, or connection, Russia promises a rich and unforgettable journey. Do svidaniya.